It's always something phenomenal when you put two people with the same dreams, with the same theme, on the same team. King Tut, John.
I ain't never been a wild dude, but this dream you gon' make me lose it. And I ain't never held up a nigga, you gon' mess around and make me use it. Cause I'm just grinding on my mission. Haters hating, they don't see my vision. So where would I be without struggle? And where would I be without the hustle?
I'm a living testament, I make them see and believe. Haters want you dead, they don't wanna see you succeed. They rather see you in need instead of being with cheese. Or in front of the judge like I see you in threes. So I see him in breeze, we don't have the same vision. Homie, I am pitching, y'all are just fishing, snitching, wishing I be in a collision. Dying in the car so it's less competition. But listen, dog, I'm on a mission. Juggling, bubbling, doubling, everyday struggling, everyday hustling, tussling, parting. If I seem hard and I don't like starving, John.
I ain't never been a wild dude, but this dream you gon' make me lose it. And I ain't never held up a nigga, you gon' mess around and make me use it. Cause I'm just grinding on my mission. Haters hating, they don't see my vision. So where would I be without struggle? And where would I be without the hustle?
I'm like Don Juan, me and John are the opposite, but had the same dream, so we got it popping quick. That's my brother, that's my dog, we a rockin' pit. Extraordinary gentleman is who I'm rockin' with. With that said, let me get back to the music. Fear I will lose it, don't act stupid. The chrome on my waist, please excuse it. I don't wanna use it, but brothers always make me wanna shoot it. So move it, fam, I'm not out here whining, dining, rhyming. I'm out here grinding, climbing over obstacles, never minding the ones that are shining. I'm more like common sense in a sense, waiting for the perfect timing. Playing my position on a block like a lineman. Put a half a nine in, out of confinement. Platinum's all goody, but I'd rather go diamond. John.
I ain't never been a wild dude, but this dream you gon' make me lose it. And I ain't never held up a nigga, you gon' mess around and make me use it. Cause I'm just grinding on my mission. Haters hating, they don't see my vision. So where would I be without struggle?
Yeah.
Where would I be without the hustle?
Where would I be without standing? Watching my mother try, watching my mother sigh, watching my mother cry, watching another guy, watching that brother lie. Vicious are hitting my man, watching that brother die. Watching the economy talk about government needs. After that I grew up eating government cheese raisins. I don't care what the government sees. Why you think we in the kitchen on the oven with keys? Please, don't make me have to squirt something. Don't make me have to murk something. All cause the church frontin'. Don't make me have to hurt something. Cause I promise that I'm nice and my talent's really worth something. My nana telling me, pray, go to church. My aunt's telling me, babe, go to work. My conscience saying, get yay and go to work. Or better yet, get a K and go berserk. John.
I ain't never been a wild dude, but this dream you gon' make me lose it. And I ain't never held up a nigga, you gon' mess around and make me use it. Cause I'm just grinding on my mission. Haters hating, they don't see my vision. So where would I be without struggle? And where would I be without the hustle? Hey.
Yo, what is good, y'all? What's going on? This is John from the One Carolina Show joining you on an impromptu night. Impromptu Thursday night, man. Just wanted to tap in with y'all, man. Seeing a lot out here in these streets. Man. So, you know, this is something I'm going to be doing a little bit more often. You know, just because I see a lot of things that I want to react to in real time. And I don't do this a lot. Usually it'll be like something pre-recorded where I'm like, you know, kind of talking in this more scripted, you know, and everything like that. And I want to be able to do things that are kind of fresh and just more in my mind at the time. And this is certainly one of those things, right? And so we're going to get to it in a minute. But salute to y'all for popping up. Shout out to 0102 White, Bossman 2552. Thank you. Yes, 4K, man. Shout out to my girl Nicole Ivory, Underground West, Tyler Jones. Yes, indeed, my man Poppin in the building. Before we get started, want to make sure that I'm doing something. Let's see. Make sure I got this all correct here. Yes. All right, perfect. All right, good. We're good to go. Okay, so I'll tell you, we'll start here. This is kind of where I saw this. And look, make sure y'all smash that like button. We're at 10 likes, 52 people watching between two platforms. I know that'll increase as we go along. So make sure to smash that like button for me. But I was, doing my casual stroll through social media. Preferably X is the account if you're not following. The One Carolina on X. We just crossed over the 1,000 mark on X. So yeah, salute to y'all for the follows, man. I'll continue to engage with everyone there. So yeah, and look, I agree with that. He says I don't believe he is, but it's like low hanging fruit. Folks taking shots and can't handle having a good thing and want to find the worst of things. I think there's a little bit of both to go around. So I do think that this conversation requires some context, but I also think that this conversation whoa, what happened? Okay, here we go. My bad. All right, I think this conversation requires some context, but I also believe that this conversation requires, in addition to that, like, I know many of us that are Bryce Young supporters are seen in a light that's like a glaze, and I don't say that from the way that the young people see it. I'm talking more like rose-colored glasses. Like we can't really. Like we look at stuff that's happening, you know what I'm saying? And we think like it's almost like people look at people who support someone and it's like, well, you can never see any wrong with them, right? And then they pick like the 1% of people that actually think that and mask that over everybody that supports that person. And we see that in just about every walk of life. It's not just subject to this, situation with our quarterback, but it's like that in a lot of different places. And that's not the case at all. I think that there is room to have multiple different views of something, but also understand that, yeah, things do take time. But I also understand, man, that this is a production-based business. So I say that all the time. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. All right. So as I said, I was scrolling social media and I saw something that I thought was fascinating. It's one thing, and I remember this quite some time ago. Cam Newton is on a tear, you know what I'm saying, his rookie season. But then things don't always work out for you. You don't always win the games that you want to win. And, there's things that kind of impede your progress as far as your overall like capability to win and everything like that. And by the way, let me just say this really quick. I am going to open up the phone lines tonight. So just go ahead and get ready for that. I'm not opening them up right now, but at some point soon, I will open it up. 704-729-4727. You'll be able to call in and give your takes. I do have a little bit of reading to do. So this is going to be, it might be a long live. I don't know how long I'm going to be on. And I'm not really, like minimizing it to a certain time. Like I'll be on for as long as I need to be. All right. So with that being said, I'm not taking any calls just yet, but we'll be soon. With that said, though, Cam Newton, on the sideline doing it, the stuff that became, that was new for us when we saw it, but we became familiar with, the towel on the head, and sitting on the sideline by himself, probably more in, thought than he is sulking, even though that's how it's given up. Like they're giving it up like, oh, no, he's sulking, right? And it's like, nah, maybe not. Maybe this is simply just, hey, I just really need to get my mind right. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to call it that, cool, but that's not what I'm doing, right? So what ended up happening? On a loss. Now, granted, the Charlotte Observer is a newspaper, that has independent thought from each person that's writing for that specific paper. So obviously, you're not going to have everybody on Team Cam or Team Bryce or Team whomever, is a part of the team, right? But I did find it weird that Home Team, had a picture or editorial picture of Cam Newton opening up the chest with the Hello Kitty in the middle. And I thought that was tasteless, right? Especially coming from Home Team. But it made me realize early as a fan, and I mean, obviously, this is before the boom of social media in my life. Social media was clearly around, but it was before the boom in my own personal life. It made me realize, like, yo, people really, really do care about their football team. You know what I'm saying? Like, people really care about their sports, and they really are beholden only to greatness. And you know what? Honestly, it's fair. It is fair. Is it dirty sometimes? Yes, but it is fair nonetheless. And so as I was scrolling through, I saw this, and this is where we'll start. So, I saw a article written by, now this is a Cat Scratch Reader, so obviously this is a blog, but it is, supported by SB Nation. And it says the Panthers' win streak is masking substandard quarterback play. And I got to be honest with you, this was shared a bunch. Some people sent it to me. People were talking about it, whether it was this article or, something else that was said here, there, everywhere. And I thought to myself, man, like, you got to be kidding me. This can't be real. This cannot be happening right now. And the reason I say that is not because nobody can have a critiquing, thought or opinion on our quarterback, but more because it's like, yo, dog, we've been bad like this for 8 or 7 years, right? We have not gotten past the 500 point in the middle of a season in years. Since what? 2022, right? Was it 22 or 23? One or the other. Sam Darnold starts off 3-0. So for us to be nitpicking about how we got here is crazy to me. And I understand, like, yo, you gave up X, Y, and Z, right? I get it. I get all the stuff, right? But I'm going to read some of this, and then we're going to, react. So the Carolina Panthers coming off a 5-4. Carolina Panthers are 5-4 and coming off a road win over the Green Bay Packers. It's a place no one would have reasonably expected this group to be. And unless you us. First stop right there. There's always expectation. Every single year, right? They don't follow like we follow. So each year, there's always going to be an expectation of what we're supposed to be versus what we are, right? All right. Bryce Young had a brutal rookie year in which his circumstances let him down. Don't say that to the wrong person. His second year was significantly better, especially in the last few weeks of the season. That provided a lot of optimism that Young would build on the momentum and take a leap in year 3. Yes, we all expected that. My goodness, did we all expect that. There was also a chance that Young's strong finish to the season was yet another example of a scenario we've seen many times before where a mediocre quarterback, gets hot during the final weeks of a lost season only to revert back to a pumpkin when the meaningful pressure of competitiveness returns with the start of a new season. We've seen that before. Anybody remember Matt Moore? Right? It's happened here, not just anywhere else. Young hasn't been bad this season. Again, don't say that to the wrong person or people. He's been bad at moments, but the season on the whole has been okay. That seems to be by design. Dave Canales and the coaching staff have asked very, very little of Young. I completely disagree with that. That's where we'll start first, right? I don't agree with that. Very, very little is not asking Bryce Young to throw a fourth down pass to Hunter Renfrow to put you in position to win the game against Miami, right? There's been multiple times, a game-winning drive against Green Bay where he threw a comeback to Teterow and McMillan, 19 yards, and then a 19-yard run by, Rico Dowdle, where Bryce Young was able to throw a fake that got the defense, a defense where your Micah Parsons, who let alone in any normal stance is dangerous, but standing in a wide 9 stance on his feet can get to you rather quickly, right? And you throw diversion for Rico. And of course, people will look at that and be like, oh, well, anybody could have done that. Okay, well, if anybody could have done it, why didn't anybody else do it? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's other people that do it, right? But I was watching, some people on ESPN talking about how, this is a maturation process for Bryce Young. To see him do something like that, that's something that the veterans, the savvy veterans at that, the ones who have far more control over their offenses than Bryce Young does, clearly do, right? I digress. Let me make sure I'm going back to Dave Canales and the coach staff have asked very, very little deal. They clearly think that their best chance to win is to rely on the ground game and hope the defense can hold up. That's where I'll stop again. What is so wrong with that? I really don't get that, right? This is something I don't get at all. I have someone in my family very close to me that calls me all the time. We have long, long conversations surrounding the Carolina Panthers and the quarterback situation. And every time he calls, yeah, boy, you still caping for Bryce Young? I'm like, man, listen, if you want to continue having a relationship with me, don't start the conversations like that. It ain't that serious, right? But it is that serious sometimes because I'm like, yo, dog, why is it such a problem to rely on other people to help you win a game? When did that become an issue? I don't get it. I really don't. Isn't that what we wanted all along? Isn't that what we all talk about in the offseason? Player development, finding lightning in a bottle. Maybe somebody can step up. I can give you names that we've drafted over the years. All of them have flamed out mostly, right? For the exception of a faithful few. But that's what you want. You don't want your team going out and giving first-round picks for players who were picked in the first round who didn't work out with that team and then bring them here thinking that you're going to make the change when you haven't been a model of infrastructure to help players develop in the first place. At least not lately, right? Anyway. They clearly think their best chance to win is to rely on the ground game and hope the defense can hold up. Young hasn't attempted more than 30 passes since the Week 2 comeback against the Arizona Cardinals, or almost comeback. It wasn't completed. That game was only the only time this season that Young threw for more than 200 yards, and a lot of that came with the Cardinals playing kill the clock defense. Okay, I've seen that narrative a lot too, and you're not wrong. But here's a point of emphasis. One, we got to see a defense that was stout because they were up 27-3 at the midpoint of the third quarter, right? And they didn't score another point. So salute to the defense. That's the first thing we got to say is like, yo, appreciate that because we know what that looked like last season, okay? But that aside, you still had to come back from 27-3 down. I don't care what defense you playing, right? Because if this was somebody that you like and didn't have all this other stuff behind him and not what's in front of him, even in a losing effort, you would have been like, okay, hey, man, they mounted a hell of a comeback, but it wasn't completed. Understand it? Cool. Look, I'm not going to die on the hill of, I won't argue the garbage time stat thing, right? I mean, is it a thing? I'm sure it is. I'm sure most people, I'm sure there's going to be people who will call tonight. And I'm sorry, I'm not in the chat right now. I'll get to the chat soon. I will, I promise. But there's probably going to be people that call tonight that are going to be like, yo, like, bro, that was the most garbage time stuff ever. Okay, cool. It put us within a drive of winning the game. So there's that. If you look at just about every production metric, and this is where it gets ugly. This is where you look at me and be like, yo, this is where you need to come outside. Young ranks consistently at around the bottom of third of the league. He's 24th in QBR, 30th in passer rating, 32nd in yards per attempt, 24th in success rate out of 35, and 30th in EPA per play out of 36. His longest completed pass traveled 41 yards in the air, which is the short. Oh Lord, this is where it get crazy. Which is the shortest distance among quarterbacks that have started the majority of their team's games. His average intended air yards per pass is 29th. I could go on, but I think the point is pretty thoroughly laid out. True indeed. But again, that is not what the conversation is about. The conversation is he holding the Carolina Panthers back? Because this right here can be used as propaganda to say, well, yeah. No. Because if that was the case, the games that he's won wouldn't equal wins. There have been plenty of throws that were made that put you in scoring position. Yes, he's made some mistakes, but he also dug you out of some too. And if you can see what happened last time that he wasn't starting against the Buffalo Bills, which honestly looked like a sort of winnable game if there wasn't let's see who's going to be running back this series or whatever going on, and maybe him controlling things under center and controlling tempo, maybe that outcome is different. I won't argue that because the loss is the loss. But the point is that he has turned a corner. There are certain things that he done before that he's not doing now, right? I mentioned this before. I talked about the interception when he threw the interception to Minkah Fitzpatrick, right? There was something in that was different than we haven't seen prior. Bryce Young typically will step up a little bit, maybe run up more than step up, flank out left, flank out right, escape pressure or whatever like that, which you're really good at, right? But you very rarely see him hitch up. Well, he did it. Now, granted, feet clicking together, hitch up, ball sails on you, but you learned a valuable lesson. But the point is that you tried it. Now, I don't know if you're going to get as many of those opportunities to continue trying that, but hopefully that will be something that was shown because we've seen it happen in other situations, right? In the Dallas game a few times. There was watching his drop back, wide base, throwing the touchdown to Tedoroa McMillan, his first touchdown, end up throwing 2 that game to him, right? So these are things that you're seeing that are market improvements. Now, if we were losing, we wouldn't be having this live tonight. Would not be having this live tonight. And if we did, it'd be completely different, right? We'd be having a much different conversation. But the fact is, man, is like, guys, I get it. This guy is the most polarizing topic in this, like in the Panther community talk, right? If you will. But like to be 5-4 and to be having these kind of like articles, think pieces being written about stuff that, and some of this is projecting to the future, you know, like this article by SI, Zach Roberts. Now, this guy isn't a Panther fan, right? But the point is like these think pieces are being written about stuff that's happening. It's just like, yo, can we just bask in the glory of being a 5-4 team that just went on the road and packed up the pack? Can we? Carolina Panthers quarterback Bryce Young hasn't lost a start in over a month since a tough trip to New England. Young is unbeaten at home. You heard that? Unbeaten. Hold that. Unbeaten on the road, the latter of which is a huge development. Right now, he's winning football games. He's not always playing at an elite level, but he's winning football games. There should be no however. We shouldn't even have to get to that. Cut the article off. But just like you and me, it's clicks. It's a think piece, something to write about, something to talk about, projecting towards the future. You don't know what it holds. You have no idea, right? Hopefully something greater than what we've seen in the past. If I'm projecting, then I would say, yeah. However, one analyst doesn't seem to think this will continue much longer. In fact, the Sunday contest in which Young was not very good but walked away with a win. Anyway, the analysts claim that Young is closer to being the problem than being the solution. I can't imagine what my chat looks like right now. I'm not even going to, because I haven't looked at it, but I will soon. I promise you I will. Because I know that right there is probably going to be like, yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Let me make sure y'all can hear me because I'm just ranting. Okay, so I'm just looking. Looking back. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I had some issues with had some issues with audio the other day, and so I want to make sure that everything is good here. All right, cool. 127 watching between two platforms, 31 likes. Y'all make sure to smash that like button for you, boy. All right, let's go. Panthers won on Sunday, and it might have been in spite of Bryce Young. He struggled like Jordan Love throwing into high winds, and he made poor mistake in the red zone. Yes, he did. Now, I looked at that, and I thought, and I'm probably wrong here, right? I'm not a film expert, and I don't claim to be. But it looked to me like that was a similar – it almost looked like the same fade route that he threw to XL in the Dolphin game. The difference is there wasn't like a safety, in the way, and they were a little bit closer to the red zone. But it looked like he was throwing the ball more to a spot. Now, could the wind have caught it? Yes. But regardless, you had Jalen Coker on the crosser underneath. Like, that would have been a touchdown, right? So that it's inexcusable. So I'm not going to sit here and try to cape for it, right? Bleacher Report insider Brent Sobleski, I think, said Bryce Young was closer to an impediment for the Carolina Panthers offense than he is a solution. Sobleski acknowledged that he's saying this after another clutch game-winning drive. I saw Sheena Quick pointed out. She said, you kind of smiled before you started going on that game-winning drive. Like, what was that about? Some people, look, it might be bad for a minute, right? Look, we've seen this. I remember Cam in Philly, right? It was bad for multiple quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, down 17-0, came back, right? Almost, and look, we almost saw that this year against Arizona. We did see it against Miami. So some dudes are just gamers, man. When the moment is the most intense, it's when I step up to the plate, right? But look, Young threw for 19 yards. Rico ran for 19 on that drive before the field goal. He also noted that the Panthers' offense is clearly built around Dowdle right now. Young isn't playing like a recent number 1 draft pick. Instead, Carolina is a run-first team. The QB helps this team the most when he turns around and hands the ball to Dowdle, he concluded. Okay, so we'll stop right there with this. This is where I saw somebody in the chat said that Bryce Young is being carried. So? I can think of plenty of opportunities where people would have preferred to be carried, especially to a championship. Tom Brady threw 1 touchdown in his entire playoff run the first time he won a championship. He was carried. Made some big-time throws, don't get me wrong, in spots and moments. but 1 touchdown through the entire playoffs? Defense. Trent Dilfer, defense. Brad Johnson, defense. At the end of the day, here's a question that I would ask you guys, and this is where I'm going to open up the phone lines where you can, I'll keep reading, and then when the phone rings, I'll answer it, and we can continue. But I'll ask this question. What do you want from Bryce Young? What would you really like to see? I can think of a lot of people who would like to have certain careers over others, right? If I asked Dan Marino, hey, Dan, you had a amazing career, right? And similar to John Elway, early in your career, you went to a Super Bowl. But, man, it's just certain things they can never get right. And, boy, you put up the passing yards and the touchdowns. Your career is great. And I'm sure that Hall of Fame ring is beautiful, along with the jacket. Do you feel like there's anything that you probably could have done a little more? Yeah. Win a Lombardi. Jim Kelly. Boy, you sure did get there a few times. Anything you could have done more? Yeah. Win a Lombardi. If the end goal is a Super Bowl, does it really matter how you got there? Does it really matter what you traded away to get to a number 1 pick quarterback and he is game managing you all the way there? If you're Eli Manning, am I going to bed at night looking at all these interceptions I threw, or Brett Favre, and being worried about that, or that moment in 97 against New England, or the moment in 07 against the Patriots, the Giant, right? Or in 2011 against them again, and looking at that and comfortably going to bed like, you know what? I got the job done. All them commercials you see and stuff like that, mostly that. So suppose that this is your opportunity to do that, to build a roster that could maybe not have consistent, big-time, explosive offenses, you know, balls that travel 50, 60 yards in the air. You know, that's what people really want to see. They want to see the air raid. They want to see things that are exciting to watch. The ground and pound stuff is for the for the dogs. Most people want to go to the football game and see people throw the ball a country mile and watch somebody dive and catch it. Hey, I'm just like you guys. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful to watch. It's amazing to watch. But you know what I want more than anything else? Hardware. What if this is the first step to that? What do you need from Bryce Young if it is? I've asked you. I've told you what I think. You tell me. 704-729-4727. In the meantime, I'm going to play a clip that I heard the other day by Shannon Sharp when they were giving us love, him and Ocho, about what they thought about the performance from the other day.
I mean, damn, Green Bay's offense. Jacobs had 17 for 87. They had 25 rushes, 104 yards. Jordan Love had 26 of 37, 273, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Mm-hmm. He was only sacked once. Bryce Young was 11 of 20, 102 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, was sacked once. But it was Rico was the difference.
Yeah.
Rico was the difference.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Panthers. I told you. All we got to do, sometimes, listen, it ain't going to be pretty every week.
No.
Sometimes you got to win games like this. Sometimes you got to win games ugly. Sometimes when you go to the corner store, you ain't got to put makeup on. You ain't got to be all dolled up. Put your bonnet on. Put your house shoes on. You know, sometimes you gotta get it ugly sometime. This is one of them games.
This ain't just one of them games, Ocho. This is what this is. It ain't just one of them games, dog. That's what this is built upon. If you a fan of this team, I'm not saying that you can't have your critiques about your quarterback. Do it. But if you really one of the ones and one of the day ones, if I'm really going to start preaching in here, if I'm really going to get in my bag, I'm going to tell you that you know that this team and this logo has been predicated upon ground and pound. Pause. You know it. When have we ever been an air raid team? Even the guy that we championed that won the MVP, what did he do? Put the ball on the ground, put his shoulder pad in your face, and move you out of the way. Sure, he threw for 4,000 yards his rookie season. But for the most part, what he did was set up the run for great passes, for play action, right? So this has always been our mentality. Hardcore defense and running the ball. Maybe, just maybe. Instead of being point guard, man, we just got back to that.
You get it ugly. That's why you say you keep pounding. Keep pounding. It ain't going to be pretty every week. You ain't going to throw for 300, 400.
No.
You know? Huh?
You just got to win.
That's it.
You just got to find a way to win. You got to run through your running back, play option after that. You got good receivers, McMillan. You got Leggett, excuse me.
Hunter Winfro, Jimmy Horn. But hey, they haven't even had a day or a game yet where they got all them boys involved, man. And where Bryce Young could just deal it like he a dealer at the casino. That day is coming.
It's coming. That's what I love. I ain't gonna lie, Ocho. Hey, Och, talk the talk. That's what I love, because it's coming. Pause. It's coming. I'm old enough to remember the time he played Green Bay and ran out of time. I saw those last 6-7 games last year, especially that one in the not the Georgia Dome, the Mercedes-Benz Dome, right? It's coming. Now, the beautiful part about it is that hopefully, because of what the schedule looks like, it happens when we're, say, Monday Night Football. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, right? That's when I'm hoping it come, and I hope it's monumental. On Monday Night Football, hang 300 on San Fran, walk away with a dub. We 8-4, because I believe these next two games are winnable. Actually, I would go as far as to say is I don't believe that this Sunday is a trap game. I believe we get this done. Winnable. Joe, you're on the One Carolina Show live. What's up, man? Talk to me. You good, man? We can hear you. Talk to me. On period. On period. On period. Can y'all hear the caller? They say they can't hear you. Hold on one second. Can y'all hear him? Oh, Lord. Can y'all hear him? Type a 1 in the chat if you can hear him. They said they can't hear you. I don't know. They said he said you muted. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah. Hold on one second. Nope. Said they still can't hear you. Give me 1 second. What about now? Talk to me. Yeah. Type a 1 in the I can hear you. Type a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear him. You should be able to hear him now. That should have got it. They said 2, no. Hold on 1 second. I think that should do it. Y'all type a 1 in the chat if you hear him. 2. They said no. Still muted. That's crazy. I can hear you loud and clear. What about now? Anybody hear him? Chat, can y'all hear him? Yeah, they still saying no. They still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Crazy. It might be, bro, because I can hear you loud. It's weird because on my end, I hear you loud and clear, and I got everything in place that I usually have when I take calls. So that's weird that they can't hear you. But hey, maybe tap out, patch back in, and then we can we'll see if it works. Bet. Shout out to my man Joe. My bad, y'all. Not sure what's going on with the audio, but either way, keep pounding. He said, mess with the wire again. Hey, all right, look, I usually don't do this. I did boot somebody, but I'm going to bring that person back in because I mess with this person. But I don't do the whole stop meat ride and all the other kind of stuff. Nah, man, look, we just talking. That's it. It ain't got to be nothing more than that. I get it. That ain't your man. You don't rock with him. Cool. But it ain't got to be all that. So, but if it get to that again, then it's over with. So I'm unbanning and look, you can come back. But if you choose to, it's up to you. All right, we're gonna try this one more time. Joe, can you hear me? They said I need to wiggle the wires. So I don't know if they can hear you, Joe. Hold on, let me see. So chat, can y'all hear Joe? Joe has called back again. We're trying to get Joe on the line. I want to make sure y'all can hear Joe. I promise. Both sides of an argument can be right. All right. Give me one second, Joe. They crossing their fingers. People putting a 2 in the chat. Does a 2 mean that y'all can't hear him or 2 means that you can? Tell me if you can hear Joe. I really want to hear what Joe has to say because Joe was giving it up, man. Joe was really giving it up. Look, they still laughing. They say they still can't hear you, Joe. All right, look. So I'm gonna do something, Joe. I'm gonna do something different. So look, I'm gonna drop a link. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat. Just tap the link, and then I'll just bring you on the show that way. Bet. My bad, y'all. So look, a little bit of say put your headphones on the mic. Put your headphones on the mic. Huh? No, absolutely not. I'm not sure what give me one second because this was not a issue. I literally just took a call earlier. Broadcasting some audio. I ain't gonna lie though, that was funny. Somebody I think that was Jay Issue was like, yo, dog, wiggle the mic. I mean, wiggle the cord again. Because he heard me plugging it in. It was probably giving a lot of feedback. Oh, man. Okay. Anyway, we'll get back to Joe in just a second. Look, I got 160 people watching between 2 platforms, 52 likes. Y'all make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you don't miss a video. Now they're saying we want Joe. Yes, all y'all can tap in. Look, okay, so let me do this first. While I'm setting that up, I'm going to finish playing what Ocho and everybody had to say, or what Ocho had to say, and then I'm going to set up where you guys can come on, where I can hear you and you can talk to me live, and I'll just drop a link and you can just one at a time come up that way. All right, give me 1 second.
That day is coming where everybody eat. You get a ball, you get a ball, you get a ball, it's coming. We didn't need that today though. Give it to your bell cow. Ricky Dowdy, you handle that. You keep pounding.
Man, Ocho, this does. Can you imagine what this does? You go to Green Bay and you get a win.
What?
With this young football team.
What?
Coaches in there telling us, see, when we play our type of football, we can beat anybody. We can go anywhere and beat anybody. We can play with anybody. We don't have.
That's a fact that cannot be understated. I'm just pausing real quick while I set this up so I can get y'all on. We'll go to links instead of calls. But that cannot be understated. The confidence level that you have when you go into Green Bay and do what you just did, those are the kind of things that change teams into becoming consistent winners. So now you got a chance to go and beat a 1-8 team who, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, is 12th against the run, right? I don't think that really matters in our situation because we've showed that we can run the ball not just this year but last year, right? But nonetheless, 12th against the run. And you got a guy that's going to show up and be productive, and this team is going to rally behind that. Hopefully the guy that we're talking about tonight comes out and flames this team Sunday. At least that's what I would hope. Either way.
Have to take a back seat to no one.
At all. At all. I don't want us. I'm talking about us. But listen, I'm a huge fan of this team. I don't want us to become one-dimensional. I don't want us to continuously rely on the running game. Because you know what teams are going to start doing, huh?
Load that
Oh,
box.
Stopping it.
They
Take it
drop
away.
they drop
Yeah.
it 9 in the box.
Yeah.
They dropping 9 in the box. You know what? Well, we gonna make Bryce Young beat us with his arm. Can he do it? Absolutely. Hell, he did it at Alabama. He showed flashes of being able to do it in the NFL as well. So, I mean,
That right there is the dichotomy, because somebody just said it in the chat. Somebody said Bryce isn't holding the team back. He's doing exactly what the play caller is asking of him. When he does anything wrong, we automatically assume it's his fault, so he has to try to protect himself, right? Now, this is where we get the balance between where some people will say, well, you're glazing, and then the other people will be like, nah, Bryce can do no wrong, right? Because that's the dichotomy. I do think it's important. Again, this is what anytime I have this conversation, I always try to give this caveat, right? What I am saying and what I'm suggesting is that you don't have to have 4,000, 5,000 yard Bryce Young to be successful, right? I think I've always given that caveat. Like in the beginning, yeah, I was like anybody else. Seeing what he was doing again in Alabama, seeing what he did against Arkansas, you know what I'm saying? 500 yards against Arkansas, 421 yards in the SEC championship. The throw to Ja'Cory Brooks in the corner of the end zone against Kansas State, for his last game in college. I saw all that and thought like, okay, I really don't care about the 5'10 stuff, because this right here looks incredible. And I'm hoping that this is what I see when he comes here, right? But it didn't happen that way. Let's just say that, right? And I'm not going to spend my time blaming what the circumstances were, right? But I'm also not going to just completely pile on him for everything that happened. There's room for context. That's what, like, honestly, that's what I do this for. I love doing this because I like to provide context, right? Now, sometimes is my context going to be biased? Of course. What is fan short for? Fanatic. I'm a fanatic, just like all of y'all, right? But when I provide that context, in my fanaticism, even if it's biased, I'm still going to try and find context in there, right? I had my takes on Chuba. I'm sure we all did, right? But does that mean that I feel like Chuba Hubbard is not an integral part of this team? Ricky Raines said it best when he was on his live. I loved it. Ricky Raines said, man, listen, I don't believe this team is as successful as it is without Chuba Hubbard, regardless of what Rico Dowdle's doing on the field. I concur. I saw somebody, look, the person, T. Thompson, in the chat. I don't know if you're back, if you're not, cool, but hey, T. Thompson was like, man, Bryce fumbled. He had to get bailed out. Yeah, he did. You're right. But boy, I'm going to tell you what I love. I love this. I love seeing somebody that fumbles, and it wasn't just that went right for him to get the ball back. It was also Icky putting Micah Parsons on the ground, because the trajectory that ball went in, that could have easily went in Micah's hands, and he could have been taken off the other way if things weren't different. But boy, isn't it great to have good players around you when you make a mistake? My goodness. Because here's something we don't talk about. We don't talk about that fumble against Tampa. That don't get really brought up that much. That might have been a dub, right? And there's no need to bring it up because of what he did last season. No need to bring it up. We just asking for the scale. Hey, 6'7". We asking for the scales to be even. That's it. Just saying.
Hey, I'm excited. I'm excited for the boys. I'm sure we got a few Panther fans in the chat. I'm sure the city is happy. They're elated. Coach, some of the pressure's off of him, especially with the way the team is playing now. Bryce Young playing very well. Shoot, he ain't on the hot seat. Let's go. Keep pounding.
Jaguars defensive end Trayvon Walker was disqualified in the third quarter.
All right. So, as I mentioned, I said I was going to put the link in the chat. The link is going in the chat. If you want to join the show, step up. I'm going to do one at a time. I don't like to do the, I've done the conglomerate thing at one point in my life, but I'm not doing that at this point. But link is in the chat. Joe, if you're still there, tap the link. Tap in with me, man. We'll get back to it as we were earlier. Actually, you know what? Let me see. I'm going to just see if I can do this. I might be able to do. Yeah, I can do 2 at a time. So look, hey, 2 at a time. If y'all want to tap the link, jump in the chat. Let's do it. 179 watching between, 183 watching between 2 platforms. 63 likes. Y'all make sure to smash that like button for your boy. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me tonight. But yeah, if you want to tap in, hit the link, come on in. Joe is back. All right, Joe, we're gonna get to it this time. Give me 1 second. Let me assign you. See, we're gonna put this as guest one, and then we're gonna bring in Joe. All right, Joe. I think they can hear you this time.
All right.
Can you? All right. Hey, look, Joe is back. I seen y'all tapping the line for Joe, and now Ann is here. So look, I want it, Joe. Can y'all hear Joe in the chat? I just want to make sure y'all can hear Joe. I'm sure y'all can. Type a 1 in the chat if you. Okay, they're giving me likes. Let's get to it. What's up, Joe?
What's happening? Yeah, like I was saying though, as long as we win it doesn't matter if we winning about 30 passes or only doing 10 passes. The win is the ultimate goal, right?
The win is the dub is the dub. Yeah.
Yeah. It don't matter. I mean, because if you look at how they constructed our O-line for the last going all the way back to Steve Wilkes, it's been constructed for the power run, but we've been trying to shoehorn over the top pass game. And look what that's gotten us. I mean, how many wins do we get from that? Versus how many wins are we getting this season from focusing on what we're good at?
Right.
Yeah, we running the ball a lot, but we're also he's making the throws when he need to make the throws.
Yes.
And even if you look at the Arizona game, what killed us at the end of the game was we was moving the ball and we just went 4 plays straight passes. They're trying to do chunk yardage instead of doing like the short intermediate pass or even try to run the ball. We had 2 minutes. But I mean, and then we got bailed out and then did another 4 plays of just throwing the ball, trying to get everything at once instead of at least running it once. And what happened? 4-0.
Yeah.
Turnover on downs.
Yeah.
Chuba was healthy. Hell, Rico was healthy. But we didn't know how good Rico was at the time. But the point is this, though, we was in a position to win, and we try to force the passing game that we just don't got right now. And we could have won that game. We could have been 6-3 if the special team of defense showed up in New England. Hell, we could have been 7-2.
It's a lot of that, you know. But here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you, Joe. What I'm glad about more than anything else is that I'm glad that the deals that we've closed, right? This Sunday is a closable deal. Now, I'll say this. I'll leave this as a caveat. If this Sunday we're 5-5 and these things kind of turn around from the quarterback perspective, then yeah, I mean, I think really, Joe, here's my thing. I think any and everybody is open to be able to have the type of dialogue that they want to have about this situation, about him specifically, right? It don't just have to be one-sided. You can look, you can. I said it, man. People thought I was tripping. They was like after he threw. Okay, so he threw a pick. I think this was against Miami, right? Miami scored 10 points off of turnovers, right? Yeah. So he threw a pick, and then he or fumbled, and then threw a pick, right? And I'm like, all right, bro, it might be time to go to the bench. The story might be over. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a good run. And then look, he went on a comeback, run and brought us back. And I'm like, hey, just like that. What my man from Dumb and Dumber saying? Just like that, you back in my good graces. You know what I'm saying? So hey, look, it can be multifaceted. It don't just have to be like all one thing or all the other. Oh, here go my dog. My dog. I already know what this about to be. Let me get it. Let me go ahead and let me make sure the ether is hot. Because this about to be an argument. My dog. Hold on. I got you. Pop, can you hear me? Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And I can see you. And you're trying to be on your Dark Knight energy. And I know you're getting ready to come with the smoke. So let's get to it.
Nah, I'm not gonna go too crazy. I ain't gonna go too crazy. Because I understand what it is. It's not nothing that you said so far can I actually say. I mean, I could jump out the window, but I mean that would just be hysterical.
Hey, Joe, jump out the window, bro. Like, okay, look.
Nah.
I want to hear. Don't give me like. I want to hear two sides of your conversation, Pop. I want to hear on one side, your real views, your real feel about all of this. And then I want to hear a nuanced approach. But in the beginning, hey, give it up.
So, to my feelings about it is that, as we cashed out, Big G. We cashed out. We gave up so much, and if this is all I'm seeing, not I can't predict the future. None of us could. If we could, we'd be rich.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is all I'm seeing from my couch or from inside the stadium, I'm kind of worried because,
Okay.
well, I
No, go ahead.
there's no way I'm gonna get what I've given up back out of one player. We've given up too much. That's super supernatural human being. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
let me ask
That
you a
ain't
question
possible.
real quick. I'm gonna ask you. My bad, Pop. Let me interject real quick. I'm gonna ask you a question
No, you good, go ahead.
because at the root of most of the anger that I see that
Hmm.
surrounds Bryce Young, it is that what you just mentioned. So my
Yeah.
question is, what would it take to satisfy that deal to where you feel like, okay, cool, it was enough. I'm cool on it now. Like I'm past because I know there's gonna be some people that there's nothing that he's gonna do short of hosting on Lombardi, and even then, it's gonna be critiques about how he did it, right? So, but I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to,
Right.
hey, what is it that you need to see to justify what we gave up to get him?
I mean, me personally, for me speaking for myself, I just need him to do at least the basics. Like you start the season off strong.
Okay,
You know
that's fair.
that would be something I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, coming, under the impression that you're accurate, be very accurate. Yeah, I knew you didn't have the biggest arm,
Mm-hmm.
but be more accurate. Uh, I need to see also some more leadership skills. Do you have to have that? No, but I would like to see him go out here when he's speaking to the podium. Be more what's the word? Like somebody can touch you, like they can actually like relate to you. That
Mm-hmm.
almost feel like unreal, almost like a bot. It's
Okay.
like
Corporate.
Joe,
it's
what do you
too
say
corporate.
to that? What do you say to some of what
I
Pop's
mean,
saying?
nothing wrong with what he said though. I, mean,
I
I can get
yeah, I
bored
can I,
all of it.
I can roll with that. I can roll with that.
Yeah.
Now, Pop, let me ask you this: 5-4
Hmm.
to 6-4, but the stats still
Hmm.
kind of look the same. Right now, I think the average. Let me take a look real quick. So right now, 244 passing attempts, 1,390 yards, 5.7
Hmm.
yards per attempt, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Average depth of target. Now, this was different last year over year. So last year, or actually, this was different even from 2023, right? Rookie season. But it was 9.35 last year, and this year it's 6.93. Now, I'm gonna ask you this, Pop, real quick, and then I want you to continue with what I asked in the beginning. In your opinion, and I know this to the detractor, this will sound like an excuse, but do you give any credence to the 6.93 versus the what did I say the previous 9.53 to the loss of Adam Thielen?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That was a safety blanket.
That was his safety blanket, and that's what I'm kind of glad that he's not here for him to keep developing.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree with
Hmm.
that because I was one of
and
the
I
people that
and I
wanted
want
them to move him. Yes, but go ahead.
me too.
Hmm.
I was on that same page. Um, I mean, I don't know, man. I just wanted to. For me, I just wanted to see him mature a little bit further by now, by this time. Last year, a lot of people would jump on the bandwagon. Oh, he was top 10 in the last 8 games of the season. Okay. Now I don't believe in m- uh uh movement. I believe in culture
Mm-hmm.
going transponding to the next year. So I told people that's like, hey, that's a long time, from that break
Mm-hmm.
and to get back into football. I'm hoping to see if he's gonna take that next step because to me, I don't really see much of a difference outside of year one from year two to year three. And so
That's where I.
everybody's gonna come and tell you the same thing. This is what they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna say.
Okay.
What's gonna happen when they load the box?
Let them load it.
That's what everybody's gonna say.
I saw that last year. Okay, so here's what I'll say to that. This is where the
But he had a
Bryce
safety blanket last year. He don't have
yes,
that this
and
year.
well, yep, and I was just about to say that because the couple of times that they did load the box, whether that was Kansas City, whether that was Philly, whether that was, I mean, because look, Spags went zero blitz a couple of times on fourth down. One in particular that was on a drive to tie the game, right? And what did Bryce do? Threw the comeback to Adam Thielen against, and that was happening a couple of different times because they really was trying Bryce all game long. Like, okay, we gonna see if you learned anything when you were sitting on the bench. We're going to see if you still scared. We're going to see if we really dial it up and, shade it with a safety and maybe the safety drops back. Hey, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't drop back. Maybe we send everybody at you and terrify you. And what did he do? Made him pay for it. So to me, I think that that's something that was an improvement, but I also think that the chemistry is not there yet for them to be able to do that at this point. So yeah, what Ocho said tracks and what you just said tracks, Pop. Let me read the super chat really, really quick. So let's see. Give me 1 second here. I saw a super chat come through, I believe. Yes. Willie Smith with the super chat. Salute to Willie Smith, man. I appreciate the super chat, brother. So Willie Smith says, can Bryce Young be our version of Jalen Hurts minus squatting 600 pounds? So, yeah, take the 600-pound part out. I want to hear from you first, Joe, and then you, Pop. What do you think to that?
He is. I mean, he's doing it right now. Tell you the truth, the only reason he's not really slinging it like he did last year, the year before, is because, truthfully, we don't have to. We had to do that last year and the year before to win. This year, we don't necessarily have to do that because our run game is night and day compared to 2024 and 2023. So now we're in a position where we don't have to toss it like mandatory 40 times a game. That part is kind of crazy that it escapes so many people that we have options
Mm-hmm.
and we're using those options. So I'm like, why fault them for using the options?
Pop?
Can Bryce Young be Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts. I don't think so.
Oh,
There's
man.
there's I've seen too many plays over the last 3 years. And we can throw away the 600 pounds. Can he give us a 4th and 1 quarterback sneak in the
No.
end zone? No.
No, but I tell you
Um,
what he can do. He can give
go ahead,
you
go ahead.
he can give you a curl to Hunter Renfro. He can
Mm.
give you a comeback to T Mac. Don't get me started, Pop, because I can do this. I got it loaded. But
I got you.
it's a few things he can do. But go ahead.
And one thing we can say about Jalen Hurts, he's what 70% accurate this year. Bryce ain't been that accurate. Not saying he can't get there, but I don't know if he has enough time. Because that's what the NFL stands for, not for long.
Not for
I don't
long.
know if
I
he
agree.
has enough time, and not
Mm.
just on his watch, Tepper watch, but also Canales' watch and Dan
Mm-hmm.
Morgan's watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have enough time. It's 3 years now, and half of the season is over.
No, you got it.
It's
Well, that's interesting that you brought that up because I want to do something real quick. Tell me if y'all can still hear me if I do this because I want to show something that I was and if you can't, then I'll just go back to what I was to where we are right now. But I want to know if y'all can hear me if I go back to my screen share. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Pop, you still in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Perfect. I'm glad I can do this.
Yes,
Okay,
sir, I
so I thought about something earlier. And I see you keep trying to tap in, man. Look, give me like 2 seconds. I'm going to drop somebody off. I'm going to go through this real quick, and I want you to tap in because you tried to come a couple of times. Pause. Yo. Yeah, I'll get you in, man. All right, so I was thinking about this earlier, and I pulled this up because this is part of what I was going to go through. This is Mitch Trubisky, right? So this is where my fear lies, Pop, to what you just said when you talked about the time running out. Because there's really only one or two things that you're going to do at this point. You're either going to give Bryce a contract or you're not. And you're moving on, right? I don't know what this year is going to finish like yet because the cement is still, wet and it's not dry. But if I go back and I look through Mitch Trubisky's run with Chicago, we started 2017, right? He was 4-8 as a starter. in 12 games. In 2018, he was 11-3. In 2019, he was 8-7. In 2020, he was 6-3 before he got hurt. Now, you can make an argument similar to Sam Darnold. Your availability is equally as important as your wins, right? Because in New York, Sam was just never available. As a matter of fact, Sam had done something when he came here to us that I can't remember the exact stat or how it went, but I remember seeing the graphic. I'll never forget it. Sam had beat the Houston Texans, right? And coming into the Dallas game, Terry Bradshaw talked about this, other than that other crazy junk he said, but he talked about how at that point, Sam had threw for more yards. It was like 860-something yards at that point in the year than any quarterback that like was on their new team or something crazy like that in NFL history. He was on a tear,
Sam
right?
was baller.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
And you can make an argument that part of what happened was the injuries. That's part of what impeded the progress. But back to the Mitch Trubisky thing. The problem I have with like the idea that sometimes even when things are developing, we will move on from what's developing to try to go to what we think is better, right? San Francisco got lucky. And this is where you'll wonder whether or not Dave Canales is really like that, right? Because San Francisco moved up, drafted Trey Lance, trying to move to better because Garoppolo didn't have enough juice, right? And so obviously that blew up in their face. Well, now you look at the Trubisky situation, it's kind of similar. You literally went before Trubisky. The last time that you had a winning record was in 2012. You went 1, okay, 8-8, you were 500. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons before you saw the playoffs again, right? At 12-4. And then you made them again at 8-8. And then guess what? Trubisky's out the way because he's 6-3. He gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then you're back in mediocre land until this year. And who knows what that's going to look like this year, right? With Caleb Johnson and Ben Johnson. The point I'm making, though, is this. Is like sometimes people will bypass steady trying to get to better. I like the plan of this. So I'll propose this to you guys, and you tell me what you think of this. I said on the last Mint Street Monday, if you haven't come to Mint Street Mondays, tap in with us Monday mornings, 10 o'clock, every Monday morning at 10 o'clock on the One Carolina channel. But I said on the last Mint Street Mondays, what I would love to see, because I do think Carolina's going to draft a quarterback this year. I do. Because I think that because of Andy Dalton phasing out, Hendon Hooker's now gone.
I do too.
Yeah, they're basically telling you like, oh yeah, we drafting a quarterback.
Oh, Henry Hooker gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
86.
Yeah. Out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, they let him go?
Yeah. Out of here. Yeah.
Dang,
Gone.
how did I miss that? Wow.
So
3 days ago, bro.
So here's the point I'm making. The point I'm making is this, is they're going to draft a quarterback, and it's okay if they draft one with the intention of developing a backup, but kind of in the back of their mind, like if they get a guy that maybe they really, really like, hey, maybe this is our succession plan. Okay. Here's one thing I can't deny. Even being a guy that's a Bryce Young supporter, I can't deny that sometimes I do struggle to watch that the ball isn't being thrown down the field as much. And I do think that that's something that may or may not improve, right? Especially with the type of weaponry that you have. I do also think that this is going to be hard to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think it's possible.
I already know what you're about to say.
You think so?
I think so, but I might be off.
Okay. I do think that it's possible you could be impeding Xavier Leggett's growth, right? Or his development.
Woo! You hit it on the money. Not only that, but T-Mac as well. See, that's the thing. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. My bad.
No, you
You
good.
got me excited.
Okay. The only
It's
reason I say
too
that,
many.
go ahead.
It's too many things, and including coaches that has to develop, because we're a very young organization. Period. As far as like coaching staff, all these new players, you have to have somebody who is top tier somewhere. Right now, Rico is the lightning in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We looked up on that. But who else is bringing that offensively? There's too many people that's got to develop.
Yeah,
Coach,
but the
coach,
thing.
we don't know what Canales is going to be because if he has to draw back a little bit, whether his trust issues go up and down with Bryce, 'cause I think that's why we see what we see with the game planning and the play calling.
Mhm.
Because I think if Bryce doesn't do the little things correctly, it seems like Canales turns back into his shell, and then we're like, why is he calling all these screens? Why is he calling all these screens? Why don't he go down the field? And I tell people, obviously, to me, from what I'm seeing, he doesn't trust his quarterback because if he's not executing the small things, what would you do? Give him the
Mm.
simplest play you can give him.
Hey, give me 1 second. Hey, look, y'all make sure to smash that like button. 182 watching between two platforms. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Joe, last words, buddy. I'm gonna drop you out because I'm gonna bring in one of my other guests real quick, man. But I appreciate you coming through. And hey, Joe stuck
Yeah.
in with us, man. Joe called a couple of times, man. Shout out to the 843. Shout out to my man Joe.
Shout out Joe.
But,
Joe, any last words, brother?
yeah. Well, there's really two things. The first thing is this: since his first year, we've been saying he got X amount of games to prove it, or else he's going. I'm like, we got him for 5 years. Why are you trying to ship him on year one or year two or year three? I mean, we still got time left on the clock. I mean, why are we trying to get a fast food pace at a 5-star restaurant? I mean, that just doesn't make sense in my book. But other than that, I don't mind them drafting quarterbacks or whatever. But what I do fear is that we do move off them too quickly, and the wrong team gets them. There've been teams out there, like even last year, they said there were certain teams who were Super Bowl contenders who were floating the idea of maybe a first round pick in a second or a first round pick, a second and a third just to get Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they're saying that, and we saying we want to move off from him, I'm just like, okay, who's the real fool in this equation? Is it us or them? So, I mean, be careful what you wish for.
That's a good.
And
That's a
that's
good
pretty much
point,
all
Joe.
I got to say. Because, you know
Joe
what I mean?
said,
Especially
yeah.
like the rumor was that potentially the Rams was like, we know we got Matt Stafford right now, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually he's going to turn to Andy Dalton. That's going to happen. That's Father Time. And they was looking for the succession plan.
Yeah.
Now imagine we do move off of Bryce and he finds his way to the Rams and that
Yeah.
roster and that coaching
Yeah.
and that culture. If he does anything that's playoff related, I'd be like, yo, we'd be the biggest fools to allow that to happen. Because we got too impatient. We just threw it away because we like, yo, we want fast food instead of that 5-star meal. So I mean, here's what it is. But that's pretty much all I got to say on that one.
Well, Joe, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate you hanging in there with us, man. Keep pounding, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ant, I'm gonna bring you up. Pop, I'm gonna bring you back in. Pop, my bad, man. It clicked out, but yeah, Pop, hit the link again. I'll bring you back in as well. Anthony, what's going on, bro?
What's up, bro?
Been a while.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in my car, done with work, and like, I thought I'd pop in, show love. But also because this conversation is so, it's been floating around, and obviously, like, we're at the midpoint of the season, so I just thought I'd hop in on this convo.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, man. So I'm sure you've heard some of the live, and I'll ask you the main question that was posed when we started, and that is Bryce Young holding back the Carolina Panthers? There was a couple of articles that I saw written, one by Cat Scratch Reader, the other by SI, that suggested that Bryce Young is impeding the Panthers' progress, which is beyond me on a team that hadn't been 500 at this point in the season in 7 freaking years, that this guy could be impeding progress. How is that possible? But please tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so listen, obviously, I'm one of the original people that wanted to draft Bryce. I went to war for him. He's a great person, a great leader. Um, Listen, like you said, man, I think the product of what we're seeing now is people in the front office finally that we have that actually know how to build a roster and are
Mm-hmm.
building towards an ideal plan. And I think Bryce is just one of those cogs in the machine. I don't think he's holding back the team, but I'll throw it this way. I don't think he's doing anything to elevate the team. And I think that's why these conversations are happening. You know, you brought up a couple of minutes ago, I was listening about how it kind of bugs you a little bit how we don't have a downfield attack. And I tied that into what Pop was saying, if he's still here, about like, you know, we're T-Mac's still on pace for 1,000 yards, and we have not seen him attack the downfield boundary in this offense yet at all. So I feel like there's just a level to what we see with, you know, Leggett too, with some of these players, that if you had someone else in there, you may be able to get more out of these young guys. And that's where I'm like, we're winning games because we have a really good offensive line. The
Mm-hmm.
defense has jumped from
Uh
worst in the
oh.
league to,
Uh oh.
huh?
And looks like it sounds like your audio. Like you sound like it sounds a little robotic.
Let me, is it still like that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me come back in. I'll try it again.
Bet.
All right.
Pop, you still there? And then I saw someone
Yeah,
else.
I'm still here.
Someone else was asking in the chat, and I'll bring you back up in just a minute. I got someone else that's tapping in. I want to hear from Christian. Looks like we got Christian in the chat. If you're wondering where the link is, like I said, I'm only going to have 2 guests up at a time. But if you go to the top of the show, then you can tap in. But Christian, I'll give you a minute, man. I want to hear from you. What's going on?
Man, what's good, man? What's good?
What's going on, man? So I'm sure you've been listening to the show, so you want to add to the conversation. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I think it's complete nonsense to think that Bryce Young is a detriment to the team. I mean, this guy has 9 game winners in his career. He's been nothing but a closer. He put us in position for us to get that Rico Dotto run. So to say that, you know, this guy isn't doing what he's supposed to do is ridiculous. People say they love Tom Brady, but it's like Tom Brady literally started his career doing the same thing what Bryce Young did. It started doing that, and they had a bunch of talent, and they surrounded him with a run game. And also, too, I've heard no one bring up Dave Canales' awful play calling. He's supposed to be a offensive guru, but how you going to be an offensive minded head coach and you're not putting up points on the board? That's the whole point of being an offensive minded head coach. Is you're supposed to be a top scoring in the league. Dave Canales cannot. Also in the Cardinals game, it showed he can't scheme a hot pocket. He can't scheme anybody open. It proved then, and you should have seen it. That game, how he schemed was atrocious. This guy's play calling is not good, and I've said this plenty of times that Bryce Young has outplayed the play calling.
Mm,
Outplayed plenty of times. He makes mistakes, but he's outplayed that play calling a lot of times because there's a lot of key mistakes. And I've talked to Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans that had Dave Canales, and they've said plenty of times that this man Bryce Young has outplayed the scheme because even when they had him, he had Baker, even though Baker did good, Baker was outplaying his system because it was a lot of times they could not scheme deep routes. His offense doesn't predicate to that. That's why you see it completely different with the last 2 offensive coordinators where they've gone deep a whole lot more. And Dave Canales' scheme, it has nothing to do with Bryce Young. People just don't watch Dave Canales and didn't watch him in Tampa Bay. I did. I had NFL Sunday ticket. I saw the Buccaneers' entire play calling. They weren't able to scheme down the field. That's why they lost in Detroit as well.
mm-hmm.
They did not scheme. They could not get the ball down the field, and also the run game. The run game, Dave Canales has a good run game, but it also depends on who's the running back. And Rico Dowdle's doing an exceptional job there. Now, I think people don't really watch. Our offensive line is good, but far as pass blocking, they're okay at pass blocking because there's a lot of because you saw it when Andy Dalton was there. You saw how much Bryce Young really makes that offensive line look a whole lot better in the pass protection because he moves around. Andy Dalton cannot move around. So you saw him getting sacked a whole lot more. That's why I'm just bringing things up so people can have an idea of you don't want your core. It's okay. There's only 3 quarterbacks in the entire league that are dominant. That is only Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Everybody else needs talent. to be successful in the league.
Mm.
So I just those are the only three quarterbacks that can carry you a team. And if you're looking for that player, you're not gonna find that player. Cause I'm
You
like,
don't think
go
Matt?
in the
You don't
draft.
think Matt? You don't think Matt Stafford is dominant? I mean, he's been
No,
doing. He's a Hall of Famer.
Matt Stafford
What?
has all look at all his weapons. He had Calvin Johnson, Megatron, he has Puka Nakua, he has Kyron Williams, he has
Hold on.
Tyler Higbee,
Puka
he
was
has
like a sixth round. Puka was like a sixth round pick.
bro,
So you didn't know. You didn't. Hold on. You didn't know he was gonna
I
be
did.
like that. But yeah. But so
I
you
did.
you 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 gambled on Puka coming out
Yes,
in the sixth round to be the guy. Well, that'll be the first I
bro.
ever heard you somebody saying that. I wish you would have put
Yeah, I
that
ain't
on
gonna lie,
Twitter or
Christian.
something.
That sound
Man,
crazy.
No,
I ain't.
no, no, no. I
that's a
had
far
no
fetch.
because
But
I no. It was a lot of
hold
players.
on,
Jalen Coker too.
hold on real quick. I've never heard anybody say that Canales was a guru. I've never heard that. I heard he did great with coaching
With
quarterbacks
quarterbacks,
and
yeah,
helping quarterbacks develop, but I never heard
yeah.
anybody say. So I think you're putting a little bit too mustard on that hot dog. But
No,
I
no,
do
no. You didn't talk
agree.
to
I
Tampa
do.
Bay
I do.
fans, man. I live out
Hold on.
here.
I trust me. I'm in the podcast game. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I talk to them all the time and I watch their games. And I got family in Florida. Trust me. But
I
what I
live
will
out here,
say,
man.
yes, I do agree. I do agree with you that Canales does have to work on his play calling. But that's part of some of the problem that I said earlier. It's too many people that have to develop. Somebody has to
Hmm.
take it up a notch.
Yeah.
Somebody
And get
has to.
hold
And
on,
that's
hold on,
just the
Pop.
truth.
And give me like 1 minute. I'm gonna get back with you in like 1 minute. Christian, so you said a lot. And I really didn't get a chance to push back on some of that because I disagree on some levels. Actually, I disagree on quite a few. One, here's where I will agree with you. I remember hearing the things about Baker Mayfield and, or excuse me, the Tampa offense prior to Dave Canales coming here, right? There was a few Tampa fans that I talked to myself and, kind of had some of the same concerns, especially about pushing the ball, deep down the field. But I will say this at the same time. I also think that the blueprint by which they reinvented and reinvigorated Baker Mayfield's career is still in place at this point. Now, did they build on top of that? Yes. But I do think at this point, they have taken what Dave Canales implemented and allowed themselves to build an infrastructure off of that, right? That's number one. Number two, I'll say that when you're an outlier, there's a lot that goes with that. When you're an outlier, things have to be tailored for you. Like we see this with different quarterbacks through, we've seen it throughout history, but never have we seen it with somebody that's this size. You talked about the Arizona game specifically, right? So Xavier Legette ran to me what looked like a curl, right? Field side. When he turned around, he was wide open. And because the pass rush had gotten there, a guy that's not an anomaly, right, would have been able to step into that throw and get it to him. Instead, the ball was dirted. Those are the kind of things that you have to learn how to game plan around. So when they sit down and have and create these installs, they're like, okay, I got to be able to do this, this, and this because we got to take this out of the playbook. We got to take this out of the playbook. Got to take that out of the playbook because this guy can't do that. Now, some people, the detractors, would look at that and say, see, there you go, right? Bro, that's every quarterback. That's just about every quarterback that exists. Every quarterback's a system quarterback to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Some people have strengths in certain areas. Some people can do. Nobody's been able to replicate aside from Lamar Jackson, but from a bruiser standpoint, nobody's been able to do what Cam can do. So they schemed up calls specifically for that. Somebody had mentioned earlier, I think my moderator Willie had talked about him being a Jalen Hurts. Well, the thing that always gets lost in the conversation about Jalen Hurts is the threat of him running, not the tush push. The fact that if they go zone read, if that end crashes on the running back, guess what? He's going the other direction, right? Bryce ain't doing that. So the point is that everybody has to have things tailored to them. So I think that the reason I give Dave Canales grace, who, by the way, just for this sake, I think there's a few things that we can give Dave Canales some kudos on. Number one, Rico Dowdle comes to you, and I want you to think about this, Christian, because most coaches in this league, say like a Sean Payton, what do you think Sean Payton would say to Rico Dowdle if he walked up to him and said, hey, run a toss, inside zone play? I seen some stuff right here. I want to make that
Go sit
happen.
on that bench.
Period.
Go sit on that bench.
Period.
But Rico should have been. But I think you giving Dave. I don't give Dave Canales credit for playing because Rico should
I
have been playing.
I do no
Because
no
I
no.
stated
That's
he
not what I'm
should have.
saying.
He's the best player.
Right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the playing part. Right. Because what they were trying to do. Look, here's another thing that doesn't get talked about in that conversation. Because even I get lost on this. Right. Those when you have a guy like Chuba Hubbard who has been here, junkyard dog, lunch pail guy, show up every year, work, get better, right? Things that he was bad on, he got better on. Man, Chuba Hubbard couldn't catch the ball at the backfield to save his life. On the jug machines like crazy, got better at that. Chuba Hubbard struggled, with patience with the run, got better with that. He was a guy that just got better every single year. And now you got guys that standing beside you, people that you done had lunch with, probably shed tears with, worked out with, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, man, somebody came and they look better than you, and your job's in jeopardy. We
I don't
forget
care about that.
well, you don't care about that, but we forget the
I,
human element of that. See, there's a story
I
that
think the
literally
team shouldn't either.
right. There's a story that literally happened today. You know what I'm saying? That kid, Marshawn Nealon. Who knows what that happened over? Right? Who knows?
Yeah.
But one
Yeah,
thing
that's crazy.
that can't be understated is that these guys have tons of pressure because of people like you and me that have these expectations on them because we want to win. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when you're Dave Canales, you like, man, I got to figure out how to play this. And look, I'm guilty. I made a video. I'm like, yo, dog, you don't got to figure it out. The production will show you. You know what I'm saying? But it's different when you in the building. It's different when they hand you the keys. When you show up every day and you just sweep the floor and take out the trash, do your job and go home, when they hand you the keys and be like, hey, man, we need decisions being made on whether this person that keep calling in sick need to be cut. Hey, that's my best salesperson. So, you know what I'm saying? Like them the decisions that make you great. Look at Obama hair from the time he came in office to when he left. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that long.
Yeah, my hair wouldn't be like that because one, I would have been made that decision before week one started. Because I've said it plenty of times. I knew Rico Dotto was that guy from the jump, and I stood on business. I said it before the jump. I was a Rico Dotto fan. I said this dude is the best running back on the team before the season started, and I said, and this is why I get upset with Dave Canales. You knew what these dudes ain't look. I'm sorry, I can't give you no credit when you knew this guy was that damn good. That's why you signed him. You saw what he did in less time with Dallas last year. And he did exactly what he's doing to other teams to you last year. So you knew what he can do. So I don't this is why I'm not giving any passes. This is at the end of the day, I'm about winning. I don't care about people's feelings. I don't care about how you feel personally. I don't care about the human aspect because I want to win games and I want to win the Super Bowl. That's my mindset is to win the
That's
Super
peace.
Bowl. And if they not about that, and I don't really like my thing is this. We talk about how Bryce Young need to be a leader. Dave Canales needs to be a better leader. Cause he need to stop being a person that wants to be your friend. Be the head coach. If you need a bench, if you need to be stand on business, stand on business. And I think a lot of times because players, I'm gonna tell you why. Because Derek Brown said this is a players led team. So when you got guys saying stuff like that, that mean that the coach is their buddy. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't make that statement. He wouldn't make that statement. Is that Bill Parcells? Would he make that statement? This is
Pop,
a
I'm a
T.
Yeah,
Pop, I'm gonna let you go. You go ahead and go real quick because
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna speak to that
I'm gonna
because
get it.
I made a video about that and I'm gonna push back even on something that I said in that. But go ahead.
I think with Derek Brown, because I didn't agree with it either at first, but I think what he was saying that we have to find in us as players to motivate each other. I don't think he was trying to throw the actual coaching staff underneath the bus when he was saying that. You know what I'm saying? We got to be the men that motivate each other to do our job and knock it out. But I think that's what he means by a player-led team. Um, but I think you need to give Canals a little bit more grace because a guy that you just acquired to come to your team and then him telling you about a scheme that they used to run in Dallas, you have to trust him to actually put that amplify that into the game by saying, okay, if we run this, you better do something with it, Rico. And Rico did it.
He
So
did.
that's grace. This previous game, our special teams coach said, hey, let's take a gamble and have them get the ball first because of the winds were blowing at 35 miles per hour. He could have said, nah, we ain't doing that. I'm gonna do it my way because it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
and it worked out in our favor, so the wind could be behind our backs when it came to that kick that we made. Also, from when Bryce needed to throw the ball, so he wouldn't throw another interception like he did early in the game. So those are things of leadership and trust that your coach is actually doing to win. Because you say you like winning, right? Him putting that in the game and taking those chances got you at 5-4. Other than that, man, y'all boys be good tonight. John, I love you, man.
Hey, love you
Peace
too,
out.
bro. As always, my man Pop, man, I appreciate you so much, brother. Dante, got you on the broadcast, man. What's up?
Y'all can hear me? We all good?
Yes, sir. Fire away.
Yeah. So I hate that us being above 500 is not as much positive about being above 500 as it is what's wrong with the quarterback. I feel like we're not like can we be a little bit more positive as a fan base? But into
Man, I
what
try to tell you.
may quote unquote be wrong, I think especially last week, Canales even said we're not asking Bryce to throw a lot. We're asking him to get the ball out quick.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because this is an O line that's still banged up. So we're still running
And
with second string guards, second string tackles at
Yeah,
time.
that's a
So
good
we're not
point.
going to get the deep play action shots we got at the end of last year,
Mm-hmm.
which made Bryce look really good.
Right.
Now, when the O line comes back, can we get that again? It's not. We don't know because he hasn't been asked to do it yet. I think that's what he succeeds at, though. So I'm not gonna say 100 yards and a pick. Of course, it looks ugly, and of course, we want more box score wise. But he's doing what he's asked. And
Right.
that's all I want right now from a team that's still putting it all together. We're not the Eagles where we've got two wide receiver ones, a running back one, and an O line that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We have a team that's still
thank you.
developing and growing. So what do we do
Talk
as
to
a
me.
team? We play to what is working.
Yeah,
Rico Dowdle is working.
I agree.
Our defense is working.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
not just for the sake of the fan base and the sake of making it look pretty, go away from winning when we ain't been winning. I heard Cade Cunningham say about the Pistons, it looks like we're turning it around. Yeah, we just started getting winning habits. This is a team that is just starting to get winning habits.
Mm.
Let's not get away from winning habits because we want it to look good when last year we finished with 5 wins.
Yeah.
I came into the year,
Exactly.
I came into the year with a 7-win season prediction. I told
Mm-hmm.
my homeboy, if they can get me 7 wins, I'll say that's a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 5, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
And hey, look,
So
hey, and we gonna get to 6 because you already know what week it is, and
yeah,
we
And
get ready
we
to turn up on
no
each.
no, we ain't
Hey,
gonna get to just
nah,
six.
we
We
gonna
going
get.
to
I'm
seven.
nothing.
Oh no, we
I'm
gonna
We
get to
nothing
going to
on the
7.
Saints
seven.
this
Yeah,
year.
We
yeah.
going to
Yeah, I'm
seven.
0 on the Saints
6,
this year. Them niggas
7,
are bust.
all that, all of it.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
I
Man,
think we can get to 10.
I
If they can get me 10, Canales, you're my guy. We're locked in.
Period.
I had us at
But
10 too. I had us at 10. That's my
I thought 10.
expectation.
I had 10 as like an unreal. For me, that's an unrealistic ceiling because I just didn't expect this defense to play as good as they have. With honestly, what is a lack of talent. Like Scorton is a lot better than I'm gonna say I thought he would be. A lot of draft people were high on him,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll give them that. And I mean,
Dog,
Derek
dog.
Brown off an Achilles tear has
Mm-hmm.
somehow gotten better. I've
Yeah.
always been a Derek Brown guy because I root for Auburn, so I've always kind of thought this is the type of player he could be.
Mm-hmm.
But now everyone's seeing it. So, and I mean, JC Horn is who he is. They thought it was bad because, niggas talk because they seen injuries, but I seen the tape, so I know what type of guy we got.
Right.
So, with that all
Facts.
coming together at the right time, let's just continue to do what works. If Bryce got to throw it 15 times to win, I just saw a guy throw it 20 times and win the Super Bowl by 20 points.
Yep.
So, let's just, this is
Speak
the
on
way
it.
the NFC, this is the way the NFC especially has shifted is you got to win in the trenches. That's always been football. But it felt
Always.
kind of like
Yes.
in the early 2020s because Mahomes was so good, people felt like they had to play into being more pass heavy. And we're getting back to what's always
Exactly.
worked. Let's stick to what works, team. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Running the
If we
football.
need 300, if we need 300 from 9, I think he can get us 250 and another 50 rushing. I think he can do what he's asked. I also think he's not 100% healthy. If you saw in the last play action rollout, he kind of jumped on the ankle when he'd usually plan on it and go or
Mm-hmm.
plan on it and throw. He kind of jumped on it and threw. I think that's still him trying to come back if we all watched Andy Dalton play, the nigga's clearly better than Andy Dalton. So let's kind of accept that this is what we're rolling with for now. I'm not looking for fifth year options yet. I'm not looking for the rest of that. Let's make sure we get to next week because we should put belt to the weak ass Saints. And we
All right,
really should put belt to the Falcons too.
two things real quick. All right, number
Yeah.
one, hey, dope rant, love it. Two, Christian, I'm gonna give you a last word in just a second, but not before I get the super chat. I got somebody else in the green room waiting. So salute to y'all, man. Shout out to the super chat from my man Double O Kane. Me and Double O Kane be going at it, man. But that's my dog. What Coach Canales is doing is creating an atmosphere of belief. That belief is what's going to create a champion. Rico won't be the only story. I could not agree more. I love that because these kind of stories, Rico, you build on top of that because now you got somebody that's instilling belief in everybody. So, yeah, I like it. Christian, give us your last word, brother.
Man, I just want to say, man, look, man, let's stay positive, man, and let's try to let's. I think we need to purify the fan base. Let's be positive, man. Let's support our. He's your quarterback for the next 3 years, and he's gonna get his contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
Support the brother. Support that brother, man. Come on, man. I didn't hear all this for Sam Darnold. I'm just saying, y'all gave Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield passes. Let's support this brother. Let's stand behind this team. Let's do it, man. Like, look, let's try to win. This is the NFC is wide open. There's no
Mm-hmm.
team. We just beat the number one Super Bowl favorite team. Okay, we just let that sink in. We just beat the favorite to win the Super Bowl
Mm-hmm.
this year. It is wide open. I don't want to. It is wide open, and we can do it. Let's keep pounding, and let's be positive. Like my brother on the side to me, I don't remember his name, but let's
That's
stay
Dante.
positive.
Yeah.
Dante, let's stay positive. Let's do that, man. Let's focus on. Let's not talk about what the team. Let's focus on this. Let's win 10 games and let's go. Let's go try to win this Super Bowl, man. Like that should be the focus. That is the goal, and that's the goal every year. It can be unrealistic, but that's the goal every year, and that should be what this goal is. Because right now it's wide open, and you can make a run.
Absolutely. No words or words spoken, Christian. I appreciate you, man. Tap in with
No
me again
problem,
soon.
man.
I'll be on live again soon. I know this is the second time you've been on with me, man, so I appreciate you coming through. Thank you for your
Oh
support,
yeah, no,
brother.
this third one, third
Oh,
time,
third.
third
Okay.
time.
Hey, man, I'm getting old, bro. Hey,
Third.
hold it down, man. I appreciate you. All right, so bringing into the show, we got Tri-State. I think I got you in here, man. I don't know if you're muted or not, but Tri-State, if you're
Yo,
here, man, what's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the One
hey
Carolina Show.
man.
What's
First
going on
off,
with you?
appreciate you having me on. I'm a new subscriber.
Oh, word. That's
I
what's
love
up.
the work you're doing, man.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
What you got?
Um, what bro just said was very right. He's correct about that, right? It's a time to be positive for us, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
been a real grueling last 8 years.
Yes.
So to be above 500 after week 9, it's a beautiful feeling, right? But I want more, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure, just like I'm sure the team want more,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
you
fact.
know.
Yeah.
Um, I think, I mean, there's so many factors that's led up to this. I got to give a quick shout out to Joe Gilbert, our offensive line coach.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
man,
man.
you know, yeah, shout out him. The job he's been doing, keeping the continuity, no matter who's coming in and out. That's that's a gem. We got a gem there.
Yeah.
Ejiro Evero, I mean, I was defending this man with my life in the offseason across multiple Panther
Uh-huh.
podcasters. Shout out to all of them. And I'm not the only one, and I'm glad to say that me and a few other people were correct about it. Um, he was he's been real predictable with his coverages, but this year he's been disguising a lot of coverages and it's paying dividends. So, one of my life models is adapt or die, and he's certainly adapting.
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to him as well. Derek Brown, man, John, hey, man, listen, I know he
Yeah.
doesn't have the sexy
Yeah.
stats and the staggering stats, but this guy needs to have some DPOI consideration
Absolutely.
this year
Yes.
because what he is doing is absolutely insane. And shout out Brian Baldinger. I love to watch his film breakdown on his Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
He is just gushing over Derek Brown and the
Every
videos he
week.
puts out
Yeah.
over it.
Every
Every
week.
week you see him,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
He's just like, here's another week of Derek Brown just mauling someone.
Yeah.
He's just treating offensive guards like a sack, throwing them like a sack of potatoes. Like,
Yeah.
um, his effect on the defense has been incredible. I look at the situation with Bryce, right? And
Hmm.
I've been a Bryce defender because, when you're the number one overall pick and you don't have the right weaponry,
Hmm.
it can affect you. And if the coaching isn't right, it could affect you. And a lot of people have said, oh, well, he's a number one overall pick. Okay, that's true. But if you look around the league, Joe Burrow, number one overall pick. Look at his weapons. Jared
Hmm.
Goff, number one overall pick. Look at his weapons. Baker Mayfield, number one overall pick. Look at his weapons. So why can't our guy have a bunch of nice weapons? You know what I'm saying? Because I've heard a lot of Panther fans say, why we draft a wide receiver in the first round? Why not? We need one.
Talk.
So yeah, so um, as far as Bryce, he's been a roller coaster to say the least, a model of inconsistency. But one thing I may say is he's been clutch. He showed up with some big time throws in some
Yeah.
clutch situations. So
Yeah.
kudos to him for that. My only thing is if you clean up that stuff early, we're not in those situations where you have to make those throws. That's
Yeah.
the way I'm feeling about it.
I
You
completely
know what
agree
I
with that.
mean?
Yes. I
You
completely
know,
agree with that. Yeah. Dante, you
but
got
but
anything
yeah,
to say to some of
that's
the
about
things
it.
that Tri-State just said?
Not to what Tri-State said. I kind of want to go back to what the super chat said, and I think this is gonna. He said we're fostering a system of belief. What that does is that attracts free agents. I'm from
True.
Florida, now I'm in New York. I've never been to Charlotte. I wouldn't partake it as maybe the greatest city for free agents to want to come to. But what people will always want to come to is winning. And they'll always, like Trevor Morig is someone who came and is shifting the culture. He knows guys around the league. Others know guys around the league. If they tell him it's nice over here, people are going to want to come.
Hmm.
So that system of belief brings more people. And that's what even though you want to build through the draft, what we've seen Dan do is while Bryce is still on this manageable contract, and based off play, I don't know what it'll look like, but while he's still on this manageable contract, he's filling in proper holes. I want to say to Tri State's point, I was one of those people who was preferring the draft defense just because it was so bad last year. It was hard not to overreact. I'm coming back to realizing now, I think we still need another wide receiver. Probably like
Mm.
I like I like Leggett. I like what he's supposed to be, but I want another guy who can win on the outside.
Hey, let me
Because the
ask y'all
Eagles
this real
got
quick.
two.
Let me interject for 2 seconds. Look, Tri-State, if you can
Yeah, go
still
ahead.
hear me. Okay. I saw
Is there?
someone. So there was a article going around today. I'm gonna see if I can find this real quick so I can show the chat as well. But like this has been a talking point on X about the potential of another receiver in the first round, like someone like Carnell Tate. Now I'm
I've
gonna be
seen
honest with
that
you.
on a lot of mock drafts.
Okay, I want to hear. So Dante, finish telling me what you were saying, and I want to hear both of y'all's take on that.
No, I saw the Carnell Tate thing too, and I was gonna point to that. I'm not mad at that pick. I was someone last year who, when we were still high in the draft, I was wanting Luther Burden. When he was still popping early in the season,
Hmm.
I was like, if we can get our hands on someone like Luther Burden, I like how it looks. As long
Mm.
as I think it's less about the talent and more about the type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because Leggett, I think, is more physically talented than Lad McConkey. But I think Lad McConkey fits better with what Bryce is good at doing and what Bryce
Hmm.
wants to do.
Hmm.
So I'm
Tri-State.
more on if we can get a guy who fits what Bryce wants to do.
I'm not sure what happened there. Was that Tri-State?
Nah, I'm chilling.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, so that was Dante that muted. I'm not sure. Okay, Tri-State, your take on that?
In regards to Carnell Tate or drafting a wide receiver in the first
Yeah.
round,
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I'm a big college guy, John.
Mm-hmm.
I want Arvell Reese.
Me too,
I
dog.
want Arvell Reese from
I don't know if
Ohio
we're gonna be
State.
there for him though, man, because he look like he might be in the
Yeah, I
top.
hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I
So,
hear you.
yeah.
But I'd still go corner before wide receiver personally. If we can
Mm,
get like a Jermod McCoy, Mansour Delaney, Avion Terrell, I'd do that before a receiver. But the idea, hey, listen, Ohio State has been breeding star wide receivers just coming into the NFL and making an impact right
Yeah,
away. So would
yeah.
I be mad if we got someone like Carnell Telly and he might probably follow suit on these guys like Ibuka and Olave and Garrett Wilson and JSN? No, because I think Carnell Tate and Ted McMillan would actually complement each other very
Hmm.
well, very well.
I agree,
But
and I saw
yeah.
that too. But personally, I just think that after going offense 3 years in a row. Now, look, here's the thing: you could to me, you can equate your 3 times that you went offense, for those 3 years to what we did in 2020, where we went all
Hmm.
defense in that draft, right? And like
Hmm.
obviously the only person still standing from that draft up until last year, last year Sam Franklin is Derek Brown, right? So at least Tedero McMillan, XL, and whatever you do next year, if you decide to do that, I feel like those are 3 guys that, in my opinion, will still be a part of the team in some respect, and also, what I'm saying, be like productive on the team,
Hmm.
as opposed to like a Stanley Thomas Oliver or a Troy Pride Jr. Shout out to my man Troy. Like, I know Troy personally, so I ain't trying to shoot at you, bro. But like, or Troy or somebody like that. Like, you got at least 3 guys that are being productive. However, I will say this, and I keep getting disliked, so I understand why. Like, that's gonna be a hard sell. Even if he's there, that's gonna be a really hard sell, man, because people are gonna be like, "Yo, fix this linebacker situation." You know what I'm saying? Or like you said, get another corner. You know what I'm saying? A potential safety or something defensive,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, I think it'll be a hard sell.
Quick, can I make one more quick point, John?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we're looking at the business side of it too. We just signed JC,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's on the books for 5 more years. I'm looking at a situation. If you draft a corner in the first round, so you're telling me you'd have your top 2 corners and you don't got to worry about paying them for 4 years. That's a
Yeah,
good situation to be in.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Now, okay, so Joe
Uh,
Clarity, who was on with us earlier, asked a question, and I want to ask you this. I don't know if you got to go, but I am going to be tapping out in about another 5 minutes, guys. So,
No
but
doubt. Yeah,
I
no,
do
we
want to
straight.
answer this question real quick. So, Joe Clarity said the bigger question is what what are the wide receiver coaches doing to further develop XL? Now, I said something earlier, right? So there was a play in the Arizona game. I can't pull it up for clip's sake, but Bryce Young, I want to say XL ran like a curl. He was wide open. Bryce Young throws it to him, dirts it at his feet, and you can see XL was kind of. And this was after the situation where XL had kind of got killed, for kind of lollygagging and getting back to the line of scrimmage. But you could tell it was like defeat. After that in the end zone, ball sails over his head. You know what I'm saying? Then there was one that maybe he could have made a play on it. He wasn't able to make a play on it. And then the next one after that, another ball sails. Do you think that part of it is just the chemistry between them two because he is touted to be someone that's more of a deep threat and that's not Bryce Young's strength?
Well, I think yeah, his definitely his strong suit is going deep, but I just think his strong suit is just getting the ball in his hands. He's very good with after the catch. My thing
Yes.
with XL is he has all the talent in the world, but we've all heard that quote, uh, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard enough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
No one's questioning his talent. That situation where he was walking back to the line of scrimmage in a 2-minute drive. You ask me personally, John, I don't think he was. I mean, yeah, he was probably hurt, but I think that was a quiet benching because of
Mm.
that. Because you and I both probably know around the league, a lot of coaches don't stand for that crap.
Nope.
They don't.
All right.
Not at
So
all.
I'm gonna say this again because I and this is if you want to call me a narcissist, I'll be that, right? I feel partly responsible for that because that literally, like this is coming off a week where Mark Schlereth called him out on national TV about effort, right? But it wasn't really shown on camera that much. Now, if you went back and watched it on the All 22, then you'd be like, oh,
Hmm.
wow, dang, he not blocking? You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. And so when that happened, I was the one that did that clip and put that clip out. And you can hear my commentary in the background, like, man, what are we doing? Get back, let's go. Whatever. And that junk went crazy. And I'm like, that's not even something that, and I'm not proud of that. I'll be honest with you, because I could tell that he was really affected by that, right? But like, you talked about the soft bench, and I feel the same way, hamstring, whatever it was, kind of a, let's sit you down for a minute. but man, did he come back a dog that game after the benching,
Mhm.
blocking like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Scoring touchdowns.
it was clearly an effort issue. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad that it happened. I don't feel good about how it happened, but I'm glad that it did happen, especially like I said, in light of what happened today, man, these guys are under a tremendous amount of pressure. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing I want to do is be an idiot. And I'll be honest with you, that kind of changed the way that I do some sort of some parts of my content, because I just don't want to be responsible for, somebody, or anything like that, man. I felt like that was, it was just, it was a sucker move on my part. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, he still came
Nah,
back,
it wasn't.
still
It
doing what he had
wasn't.
to do.
Nice.
It wasn't a
If I
sucker
can,
move on your part. No, it wasn't, John. Not at all.
if I can
Not at all.
jump
You were
in
being an honest
for last
fan.
one here,
Yeah,
I'll say two things to
go ahead,
that.
Dante.
One, Leggett played quarterback in high school and then asked to change halfway through college. So if parts of me do say he's still learning, Tet's been playing wide receiver his whole life and's been a high been working on nuances, in and outs, things like that. That's
Mhm.
something we're still getting Xavier to probably learn and break on and things like that. So I will always give him grace on that perspective. He's still trying to learn the wide receiver position. He's always been treated as an athlete. That's
Mhm.
why you see he always gets his stuff off on drags or where slants where he can get that ball in his hand and get to moving, because that's what he's used to, having the ball in his hand. Back to the draft point, and I'll drop out after this. That Trey kid from Baylor, the real big tight end, I know we've got Evans and Trimble and JT looks good. I want that guy on my team. If y'all ever seen him, I think he's number one on Baylor. He plays tight end. His last name's Trigg.
Mhm.
That's a huge guy. He's probably got some of the biggest hands I've seen. I mean, it looks like a Nerf ball when he tries to catch it. So if we can sneak that guy in somewhere in the third round, I'm in on bringing that guy in. That's my guy for the draft for sure.
Nice. Well, Dante, man, I appreciate you
Yeah,
coming through
I'll
this
drop
evening,
out here.
man. Yes, sir. Have a good evening, brother. Hey, Tri-State. So, he had just mentioned about the tight end situation. I think your number one tight end already on the roster, dog. I
Mitchell
love.
Evans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love Mitchell Evans. You was talking about Joe Gilbert earlier, man, and I pulled this up for the PFF faithful, just to give you context. And you'll still be able to hear me, but I'm gonna pull this up on the screen so the guests can see it as well. And so, just for the context of being able to see what Joe Gilbert's efforts are doing. Mitchell Evans, 6th. Now, Mitchell Evans gets brought up in 12 and 13 personnel a lot as a blocker. So I'm counting him into that fold. But Austin Corbett, the guy that we loathe at the center position, 15th ranked. Cade Mays, 11th ranked. Brady Christensen before hurt, 11th ranked. Damian Lewis, 4th, right? This ain't even Robert Hunt, your high paid guy, right? So, yeah, salute to Joe Gilbert like you talked about earlier.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely.
So, man, I am going to hop out of here. It has been a very, very long day and an even longer night. But, man, this has been a blast, man. You want to give a last word?
I appreciate you having me on, man. Keep pounding, drink water, take care of the ones that love you. Peace
Man,
out.
what a bar. Man, I appreciate it. What a night. So, yeah, man, I'll answer a few comments before I get out of here. Salute to Tri-State. Salute to Christian, Dante, my man Poppin, everybody who came through tonight. I didn't mean to play that, but I'll take y'all to church. I meant to play the applause. But thank y'all. Thank y'all for coming through tonight, man. I don't do a whole lot of lives outside of Mint Street Monday. That is something I'm going to start doing more of. I saw my man Ricky Raines. Yeah, the format, man, I enjoy this. I used to do this a lot, early in my early days. Jay Issue, he been around a lot. He been around for a minute. So salute to the members, man. All my members. If you want to join the One Carolina membership, is $199 per month. Like I said, once that membership starts to increase a little bit more, which we're kind of getting those numbers up right now, we're going to start doing special member-only lives, videos, giveaways. Another thing we're going to start doing. Before I go, I do want to say I am making a special appearance. I'm not going to tell you the pod yet because I'm excited about it. I'll give you this hint. If you're a regular on my channel, I have said this multiple times. I'm not a guy that likes to play favorites a lot, but I will do it in this case. It is my favorite pod in the space. My favorite. One of my favorites, period, of any pod that I watch. I listen to a lot of content, right, to get my own talking points. Sometimes I argue with the wall when y'all don't see the prep for shows. My family thinks I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's cool, whatever. But I will be on a show this Friday on what is now become my favorite podcast. And I can't wait to chop it up with these brothers. So salute to them. You will probably see that drop if it hasn't already. I've been live. We've been in communication with the host of this show. And so, yeah, look for that. I'll share that on my community page. I'll share that on X. If you're not following me on X, follow me at The1Carolina. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. It has been another one, y'all. Another great One Carolina Live, man. And look, don't let anybody tell you that you can't enjoy your mediocre quarterback. Because he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. I'll see y'all on Monday. Peace out.
We go to prison.